This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So what I was telling you that we are doing this workshop, this 2 days boot camp on behalf of GB Pant Institute of Engineering and Technology in association with Ensino Research and Development Private Limited. I am Ashok Kumar and I'll be taking this boot camp for next 2 days. And here in this 2 days boot camp, we are going to discuss about EV design and simulation. So as we all know that EV is electric vehicles and everyone is facing the same thing that EVs are going to cover all over the market. And the main reason behind that is the resources which we have, like fuel, petrol, diesel, and secondly, the environment, global warming, which is increasing day by day. So, to avoid all those things and to make our nature like a green environment, we are going to shift it to EVs. That is why EVs are on huge demand at present. And that's the thing which we are going to cover here. We'll try to understand how we can make the EVs, how we can model the vehicles, how we can work on the simulations of the vehicle. Because it's not like that if we are thinking about EVs and we started making an EV without any analysis, without any design, without any understanding, without any observation. That's not like that, because if we do like that, we are going to waste our time as well as we are going to waste our money. So we have to focus on those both the things, that how we can save the money so that we can first have the analysis, design and simulation for the EVs. What are the actual requirements for EV if we are going for the EV? So all those things we have to understand here in this session. So whenever we are talking about these EVs, first thing which comes into mind is that we are going to start with the hardware part, or we are going to start with this we are going to start with the fabrication part, but actually it's not like that. First we have to understand which particular software here we are going to use to simulate or to analyze. So as of now, we are going to use one software. As you can see in my slide, it is clearly mentioned that we are going to use one software, that is MATLAB and Simulink. So the same thing, first we have to understand like what is MATLAB, what is Simulink, and how we can simulate the EV design here. So first of all, I want to get some inputs from your side. Do you guys have any idea about MATLAB? What is MATLAB? You can unmute yourself to answer the questions. There is no problem in that.
Yes, sir.
Good, Akash. So how much idea you have regarding this MATLAB? You are in which year, Akash?
Sir, electrical engineering.
No, I'm asking you are in which year?
Final year.
Final year. Which college, Akash?
Sir, ITG Gopeshwar.
ITG Gopeshwar. Okay. So first of all, I need to tell you guys one more thing, that is that we are having this workshop on behalf of GBPIT, but it's not like that only we have the students of GBPIT. All the other students are also invited in these sessions, and some of them has joined the session using the Google Meet, some of them has joined using the GoToMeet, and some of them joined as Zoom application. So Akash is having a little bit idea about the MATLAB, and I expect all others also to have the idea. Otherwise, what we are going to suppose here, that we have to start from the very basic of this MATLAB, and then we'll be discussing about this EVs, right? I am going to turn off my camera because I'm getting some messages from other students. They are having a net connectivity issue. So the main thing which I want to deliver is my voice and the content which I am showing here. So camera is as of not required, not mandatory. So I'm turning it off. Okay. So now I'm shifting to other one, that is conventional vehicle. So as we are discussing about the EVs, so first we need to also understand what are the conventional vehicles. You can clearly see from the picture that conventional vehicles, that mean the petrol and the fuel which we are using at present, and also we can say that these are the engine based, IC engine based mechanism, where we may have two piston, four piston, that depends which vehicle we are using, that depends how many cylinders are there, that also depends that the capacity is like what, how much cc. If we are talking about the two wheelers, we all know that it started from 100 cc and then it is up to 250 cc's. And then if we are talking about the cars, then it started from 800, like Maruti 800, and then we have 1000, 1100, 1200, 1400, and a lot of other vehicles are also there, which we are using as conventional vehicles. But now we have to think about EVs because we don't have enough resources like petrol and diesel. So that is why we are converting our conventional vehicles into the electric vehicles. So for that, we have hybrid electric vehicles where we can use both the resources at the same time. Like when battery is completely charged, I can use my vehicle as electric one, and when I think that battery is not up to the charge or battery is getting low very fast, in that case we can use the petrol or the diesel, whatever engine we have, right? That means the overall idea is to have the hybrid vehicle to save the money regarding the resources. When I have battery, I'm going to that. When I have fuel, I'm going to that particular thing. But the thing is, if we talk about the overall cost of the hybrid electric vehicle, that is so much high, right? And one more challenging thing when we are predicting the electric vehicle, that is the charging stations. Right now, we don't have enough charging stations across the India, or let's say across a lot of places. Like we are living in Dehradun. I'm living in Dehradun personally, and it is Uttarakhand, right? So it is almost the hilly region here. And even if I talk about the northeast or the Himachal Pradesh, or all the areas of India where we have some kind of hilly region, there we don't even have the capacity of petrol properly, the capacity of diesel properly. Then how can we have the charging stations right now? Because all those states, all those cities are yet developing, and we don't have enough resources for the conventional fuels. And if we talk about the electric vehicles, they are just launched. So that means it will take a lot of time to convert or to establish the charging station at all the places, all the parts of India. So that is why the hybrid electric vehicle is one of the best approach at present, where we can use both the resources. But the thing is that these are so costly as compared to the normal conventional vehicles or the electric vehicles. Because the next one is the pure electric vehicle, where we have a battery system to and the battery system which we can charge using the charging stations. As of now, we have onboard charging concept in our electric vehicles. Onboard charging concept mean we can charge the vehicles at our house itself, because we have single phase charger attached with it. But if we talk about like the reality, when we are going to face it in future, there will be having only three phase charging concept, which is basically based on the charging stations. And if we compare both the things, like now we are charging it using the single phase which we are getting at our house, and if we charge it on three phase charging stations, the main comparison, the main difference is of the charging speed. Because whenever we are going to charge using the single phase, the charging speed is low, and whenever we are going to charge at the charging stations, definitely the charging speed will be higher as compared to that, right? So that is why we have some limitations, we have some pros and cons for these things for the electric vehicles. Still, the world is facing a lot of challenges. Even the battery resources are not enough. Recently, if you heard about the news that we got some resources of lithium ion battery in Rajasthan as well as in Kashmir. So this is the way, like how we are approaching for lithium ion batteries or any other resources which can connect us to the batteries thing. So still we are facing the issues, and there are a lot of pros and cons of these electric vehicles, which you can see here in this slide. And I'm not going to read all those points which are mentioned here. We just need to understand what are the challenges we are facing at present. But one most important thing is here, that definitely in future, if we start today from electric vehicles, if we start studying these things, definitely we are going to place at the good market or the good MNC companies, because the demand is going to be so high. Everyone right now is looking forward for the computer science engineering branch. No one is looking forward to electronics, electrical. Like I cannot say no one because you guys are there, right? And but yeah, exactly, if we check the numbers as compared to last 4 or 5 years of 5 to 7 years, so the numbers are decreasing day by day. When we started it, like if your college is having 60 seats for electrical, maybe now you are only 30 or 25 in numbers, or maybe you are in 40 in numbers. That depends upon college to college as well. But yeah, that is the actual fact that the numbers are decreasing day by day. But you don't have to worry about these things, because you guys are going to pass out in next 1 or 2 years, when you will be having a lot of opportunities in the field of electric vehicles. That is why we are having this boot camp on the latest technologies, so that you can aware about how we can grab the job opportunities. So what I said, the first process is to understand how we can analyze, how we can design, how we can simulate the electric vehicles. But before that, we need to also understand the basic parts, the basic knowledge of these electric vehicles. So if we see here the electric vehicle components, we have assembly. Assembly means there we can talk about the chassis part or the body part of the electric vehicle. If even if we talk about the conventional vehicles, IC engine based, or even if we talk about the electric vehicles, definitely we need to design, and the design should be very smart, right? Because you know, at present everyone is looking forward for the trends, the looks, the fashion, and according to that, the design should be very smart for your vehicle. And for that, we are not responsible at all, because we are from the electrical electronics background. If anyone is there from mechanical background, he is specially responsible for the designing part of the body of the electric vehicles. We have to think about the electric part, how to charge, how to supply the power to motors through battery, then how to manage the battery, and then how to distribute the power throughout all the components of the vehicle. Because it is not only about the motors, we do have a lot of different components in our vehicle, like lights, steering, then DJ system, then AC, then fan, and then we also have other lot of automated systems for the windows and other things, the rainy season and all. So the main thing is that we have to only think about the power distribution, power charging, power maintenance, right? So we are responsible for these things. But as of now, if we think, if we study about the electric vehicle components, then assembly is the most important thing, because whatever design we are going to create, that will create time, and that will create an impact on your vehicle. That will create an impact of the cost of the vehicle and the sale of the vehicle. Then the next components which we have is the battery. Definitely, if we have to connect the motors and we need to give the supply to motors, we need a battery system as well. And battery is going to provide the power to motors, which I told you already. So motor is the most important part here which we need. And then we have the vehicle structure, like wheels, vehicle body, and gear mechanism. So it completely depends upon you. Like if you are connecting your motor shaft directly with the shaft of wheel, or also it may happen that you are connecting the four different shafts for four different wheels, or you may also connect one assembly or one motor for all the shafts of wheel. So that depends completely upon you, that how you are taking this four wheel four motors, or four wheel one motor, or you may also use the gear mechanism. So that is completely depend upon the engineer, which who is going to design the electric vehicle. So here in this session, we are going to cover about the two-wheeler and four-wheeler as well as. So let's see how we are going to connect the wheels and the shaft and the motors. That depends at the time when we'll be doing that. Okay, I'll take some inputs from your side, and then we'll be doing that thing as well. Now, I was telling you about the assembly, and the assembly is the part of the like shape of your vehicle. So you know that whenever we see the tilt shape of electric vehicle, from not even electric vehicle, even if it is the conventional vehicle, we see a tilt shape from the front side. And why do we have this kind of shape? Because you know there are a lot of forces which we have to oppose when we are running the vehicle. For example, if we are running the vehicle at 20 kilometers per hour, and from the opposite direction, opposite direction means if we are going to front, then from the back direction, we are getting a force from the air that is called aerodynamic force. So if we are getting the kind of forces, we have to oppose them. Sometimes it may happen that aerodynamic force is supporting you. Sometimes it may happen that aerodynamic force is opposing you. So we have to check for both the cases. That is why we are designing the vehicle in the slide or the tilt position from the front side so that we can manage that force, right? Other EV parts are like the inverters, the power converters, battery bank, the motor and the body. So definitely, if we talk about the inverter, we know that to convert the AC into DC, we have inverters. Now, why it is important, what all components we need, let's try to understand from this block diagram. So first of all, there is a battery which is giving a signal not directly to motor, it is giving the signal to motor controller. So motor controller is basically a power inverter where we are managing the power provided by the battery. Let's say if we have a motor of 24 volt of DC and you are connecting a battery of 110 volt of DC, that means you have to manage the power. You have to improvise the DC voltage. Or sometimes it may happen that you need to decrease the value of the voltage or the value of the power which you are providing from the battery. So overall, if we talk about the motor controller, the main role is to convert your power and to invert your power. So as of now, if we see, we have lot of electric drives like variable frequency drives, variable voltage drives, variable current drives. That depends upon the application which motor you are using. Like if you are using DC motor and you want to change the speed and direction using the frequency, you can use variable frequency drive. You can also change by changing the voltage. You can also change by changing the current. So you may also use VVD, variable voltage drive. You may also use variable current drive. So that completely depends upon you which exact motor you are going to use. According to that, you can decide your motor controller drivers, motor controller drives, and then how much power is required. So for that, you may choose your power converters and then power inverters. And then definitely for the charging stations where you are charging your EVs. So there you are getting a single phase or three phase is AC. Whereas we all know that the battery is the part of DC component. So definitely we need to convert AC into DC. So we are supposed to create one more structure that is called the power converters. So overall, from the start, if we see, a driver is giving a control signal to motor controller. Motor controller is getting a direct power from battery, which it is controlling. The motor controller is controlling that power and then providing it to motor. But it cannot directly provide to motor because it need at least a control signal from driver. Let's say if you are providing the power to motor controller and it continuously passes it to motor, motor will start moving, right? And if motor will start moving, that means it's not following the control signals given by the driver. So we can say that it is a kind of self-driven car or autonomous car. But here when we are not talking about the autonomous cars or automatic cars, so the signal which we are receiving from the driver is most important, right? Because it may happen that he is running at 20 kilometers per hour. Sometimes he is running at 60 kilometers per hour, or sometimes he is running at 100 kilometers per hour. So based on all the signals received by the driver, motor controller is going to control the power and then it will provide to a motor. Then motor is directly connected to a wheel or connected through a shaft or connected through a gear mechanism. And in that way, we'll be getting the output that our car or our vehicle is moving at this particular speed. So this is the main structure which we are going, which we have to understand while doing the EV part. So overall, I hope that this part is clear to you, that how we are going to create the vehicle, how we are going to understand all these things in the MATLAB and simulation. So the main thing which we have to create is the power converters, power inverters, and then onboard charging stations, then battery management systems, and then we have to create the control signals given by the driver. Then we have to talk about the the aerodynamic force or other forces, which I'm going to tell you very soon. So other forces which are going to oppose or support the vehicle, and then finally the speed of the vehicle, how it is in how to increase the speed or how to decrease the speed, and if we are climbing the hill, then what is the effect of that particular area, and even if we are going down from the hill, then what is the effect, and then the next thing is that if we see a kind of roads where the uh, holes are there, pits are there, the proper road structure is not there, what kind of effect we are going to get there. So we need to understand all those things, and what happen if we run our vehicle at 100 km per hour, and what is the effect of that thing on the battery, how battery is going to drain. So we have to overall discuss about these things in these sessions using the MATLAB and symbol. So till now, whatever we discussed, do you guys have any doubts? Do you want to ask any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, Arun, I understood your question. Yeah, okay. Let me answer it. See, Arun, your question is that are we going to design the actual vehicle here? So first of all, let me tell you that MATLAB is a software where we have the coding part, where we have the simulating part as well. The coding part, that means where we can create the programs, and the simulating part where we can simulate the vehicles, right? So in actual, if you see that the vehicle is moving, like we are not going to animate it, right? We don't have those kind of softwares here to use for the electric vehicles, where we can show the vehicle is moving slowly, and then if we give the control signal and the speed is changing. So actually we can do all those things in MATLAB and Simulink as well, but we are not going to create any kind of animations. That option we don't have in this software. We just have to observe that if we give any kind of control signal to control the speed, to change the speed, to decrease or increase the speed, what effect is going to what effect is going on the vehicle, we are going to understand those things. And now the point is that your question was, can we see the animations here? So no, we cannot see any kind of animations here. We cannot see the vehicle is actually moving, but yes, we can design the whole vehicle. We can even connect the machine, battery, and then power converters, power inverters, wheels, gear mechanism, everything is there, right? We have a specified toolbox for that. But in actual, the output which we are going to observe, we can see all those outputs through the parametric values of the speed or other parameters, or we can also observe those values or those data in the graph. So we have a graph option here in the MATLAB. So if you give any kind of control signal, the speed is changing, then graph is continuously increasing. And if the speed is decreasing, then the graph is continuously decreasing. So that's how we are going to observe the output. Okay, fine. And anyone else who is having any kind of doubts? No one. Very good. What about you guys from this go to meet? Sajal, Rishabh, Dimple, Neha. Are you guys there?
Yes, sir.
Can you please all turn on your camera for once? I'm also turning on my camera. Can you all please turn on your camera for once? Neha, Akash, Gyanendra, Vaibhav, Anurag, Lalit, Dimple, Dipanshu, Ankush, Chandan, Mayank, Sajal. I got input from only two of you, Akash and Gyanendra. Oh, Lalit started. Anurag, Mayank. What about Neha, Rishabh, Rajan, Sajal? Those who have already turned on, they can now turn it off. No problem. Okay, that means some of the students are not active. They have just joined the session and now they are not responding. And some of them are like Neha, Sajal, Rishabh. Rishabh is there now. Mayank. Okay, great. Fine. So we were discussing about the things. Now we can have the discussion continued. Don't you guys have any doubts? Dipanshu was saying
No.
no, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, okay, fine, no problem. Let's continue it further. So now, first we are going to understand about the MATLAB thing. Okay. Before that, let's try to understand about these forces. So these are the basics of the forces which we may face. Let's try to understand that we haven't connected the vehicle with any kind of battery. Simply, there is a wheel motor which is connected through a shaft assembly or gear assembly, and now we have to move the vehicle. So what we are considering that the battery is not there. So that means we cannot give any kind of power to the motors. So how to move the vehicle? There is only one option we have, to push it, right? Sometimes when our vehicle is not starting, ऐसा सुबह सुबह के time winters में we may feel sometime कि vehicle start नहीं हो रहा है, and then we have to push it, right? So to start your vehicle हम उसको धक्का मार रहे हैं, और वो जो हमारा force है, that we are counting against how much force is required to start your vehicle. I'm not asking you about 20 kilometers or 40 kilometers or 60 kilometers. I just want to check that we have to push. So that kind of force is called the push force, which is required when we will be calculating the total power required to run your vehicle. That is called the tractive power. Total tractive power which is required to run your vehicle is overall the sum of push force and the frictional force and other forces are there. So now push force is what? When we are pushing our vehicle to move it into a direction. Now what is the frictional force? That is, I guess, understood. The frictional force मतलब कि आपका जो व्हीकल है वो एक रोड पे है, आप उसको पुश कर रहे हैं और रोड उसको अपोज कर रही है, क्योंकि ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स भी वहां पे है जिसकी वजह से आपका व्हीकल ग्राउंड की तरफ जा रहा है, और आप उसको पुश करना चाह रहे हैं, बट आपको एक और चीज अपोज कर रही है। हो सकता है आपके रोड पे होल्स हो, पिट्स हो, या फिर रोड अच्छा ना हो। तो वो एक और केस है जहाँ पे आपको फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स देखने को मिल सकता है। एंड द नेक्स्ट वन इज दैट इज द एरोडायनेमिक फोर्स। अभी आप अज्यूम करते हैं दैट फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स एंड द ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स इज अगेंस्ट यू बिकॉज यू आर पुशिंग इट, और आपको अब ज्यादा पावर देने की जरूरत है। एंड नाउ लेट्स से कि अब सामने से हवाएं चलना स्टार्ट हो गई हैं, and the speed of the air is like say 20 kilometers per hour. That means now if you want to move your vehicle, तो आपको जो है वो जो फोर्स एरोडायनेमिक फोर्स है और जो फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स है और जो ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स है उससे भी ज्यादा फोर्स आपको अप्लाई करना होगा। सो टोटल ट्रैक्टिव पावर विच इज रिक्वायर्ड इज इक्वल्स टू व्हाट? First of all, we have to calculate all the forces. The push force minus aerodynamic force minus frictional force minus gravitational force. Now we are only considering about the free body diagram. Free body diagram without any battery and as well as no load condition. No load condition, that means there is no one sitting at our vehicle, and later we will see how we can apply the loads on the vehicle if we increase the load up to 300 kg or 400 kg, what impact that is going to give us to reduce the power or to increase the power, that also we need to understand. But right now जो हम देख रहे हैं that is simply a free body diagram, जहाँ पे किसी भी तरह का कोई भी लोड नहीं है, कोई बैटरी कनेक्टेड नहीं है। सो ये एक सिंपल सा केस है, और ये केस भी हम तब देख रहे हैं जब हमारा व्हीकल एक बहुत प्लेन से सरफेस पे मूव कर रहा है। एंड देन इफ वी सी दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग वेयर the vehicle is climbing on the hill. So if you see which are the things opposing to us, the first one is gravitational force, the second one is aerodynamic force, and then we have rolling resistance force. The rolling resistance force is equals to the frictional force. Okay, and then we have hill climbing force as well. And now after all those things, we want to generate the acceleration so much high. So for that, we need to improvise the push force. Again, we are considering the free body. So that means we have to push the vehicle and it is climbing on the way. So it will be very difficult for us to push the vehicle. That means the power, because the power is required higher as compared to the last time. So this way we need to improve the total reactive power. And to improve the total reactive power, we have a simple formula, that is power is equals to total reactive force into velocity of the vehicle. Now, simply, if I want to improvise the power, we need to improvise the battery conditions as well. So the main thing is here battery, right? Whenever we are working on the electric vehicle, so what we have to consider, the main part is the battery part, which should be properly charged, where we should have the exact value which is required to move your vehicle. I'll show you one thing for all those things which we were discussing here. So just give me a moment. I'll open this Excel sheet. So we have some formulas, right? First of all, let's see all of them. We have some formulas here. First of all, I told you about the total power. Total power which is required is equals to total tractive force, which I am denoting through FTE into V into V. Now, if you see here, total tractive force is equals to force rolling resistance, then force AD, aerodynamic, force hill climbing, and then force WA, force LA. So LA is linear acceleration force and your WA is the angular force. Angular force is somehow related to your hill climbing force. So all those things we have to add to get the total tractive force, right? And on the basis of these formulas which are written here, you can even take the screenshot of this, which are written here. On the basis of that, we have calculated some data here. This is the actual data which we are considering for two vehicles, vehicle 1 and vehicle 2. We all know the units for the weight, for the width, and for height, for rolling resistance, air density, drag coefficients. We all know the units for that. So let's say we have a vehicle, the weight is 1000 kg, width, the frontal width is 1 meter, and the height is 1.5 meter. You can even take the screenshot of this as well. And then the rolling resistance is basically uh, depends upon the size of your wheel, right? The diameter, the radius, and the width depends upon all those things, how much rolling resistance is required. So here we are considering as a constant 0.020, and then air density we are considering it as normal, that is 1.250 kilogram per meter square. Then the drag coefficient is again the constant, that is 0.30, and gravitational force is the standard one, that is 9.80. Speed which we need is suppose 40 kilometer per hour, and the frontal area is 1.5 meters square, and the velocity is 11.1 meter per second. And now I'm considering the hill climbing angle as well, that is 10 degree, right? So on the basis of that, if you see, the total power required for 40 kilometer is 2563.50 watts. So almost 2.5 kilowatt. That means जो आपको बैटरी चाहिए वो एटलीस्ट 2.5 किलोवाट कैपेसिटी की होनी चाहिए. बट व्हाट आई विल से कि आपको 2.5 किलोवाट उस व्हीकल को इस कंडीशंस के साथ रन करने के लिए चाहिए, तो डेफिनेटली आपकी बैटरी का साइज इससे ज्यादा होना चाहिए, एग्जैक्ट इक्वल नहीं होना चाहिए, बिकॉज आपकी बैटरी भी आपको 100% एफिशिएंसी नहीं देगी. एंड डेफिनेटली आफ्टर सम टाइम वो क्या होगा, ड्रेन होना स्टार्ट होगी, और जब भी वो ड्रेन होगी तो हमारी जो आउटपुट है बैटरी से वो धीरे धीरे कम होना स्टार्ट हो जाएगा. एंड at that point of time will not get exact is 40 kilometer per hour. Now let's see the other scenario where we are considering all the things to be the same, the weight and the other things to be the same, but the speed is required now at 60 kilometer per hour. And for that 60 kilometer per hour, if you see, तो हमारी जो बैटरी है उसके लिए हमें जो पावर रिक्वायर्ड है वो 4.5 किलोवाट से भी ज्यादा की रिक्वायर्ड है. Now let's see some changes here. If I'm changing it to 0, so why I'm putting it 0, so that we can check there is no data available here now, because ये जो वैल्यू आप देख रहे थे, that was the value for total power for 40 kilometers without any angle, without any hill climbing. Now we are considering कि हम पहाड़ पे चल रहे हैं और there is a slope of 10 degree. तो हमें कितना पावर रिक्वायर्ड है, that is displayed here, right? And if we start changing anything else, like if we start changing the mass here, I'm saying now my vehicle is 1300 kg. So in that case, if you see, the total power required for the plane surface at 40 kilometer per hour is 3216 watts. And if you see the exact for this 10 degree, then it is 24,576 watts, which is so high as compared to the normal power required, right? So these are the two vehicles where I'm showing you the power calculations using the different formulas. So now, if you want this Excel sheet, you can take from me, right? I'll share with you. And on the basis of this Excel sheet, you can decide how much weight, how much width, how much height, and then how much power for the battery is required. So this is the first step when we are going to design the vehicles. Because after all those things, after all these data, we have to design the simulation part in the MATLAB. So now let's go to the MATLAB and let's start understanding about the little bit of the MATLAB. I'm not going to give you the overall overview of this MATLAB, but a little bit overview. Okay, but I need a rest of 2 minutes. I want to drink the water and then we'll start it again. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Even you can send those questions in the chat box. Okay, so is there anyone who is having doubt? Because I got three messages only. Okay, fine. So I guess who text me, they have got their answers, right? So now what I was telling you, that was the next part to discuss about the MATLAB. So I think सबको एक थोड़ा बहुत general idea होगा that what is MATLAB. MATLAB is basically called a matrix laboratory, right? And if we talk about this matrix laboratory, 1960s में इसको डेवलप किया गया, मैथवर्क्स ने इसको डेवलप किया, and the main reason to develop this software was to work in the research area for the matrix operations. Later, if we see, then MathWorks started including all the mathematical operations here, like differentiation, integration, differential equation, integral equation, or all other stuff which we have related to the mathematical equations or the mathematics. So we can simply say MATLAB को introduce करने का एक main reason था research area में work करना, because you know that अगर हम कोई भी एक new project पे work करना start करते हैं, then it takes some time to understand the project and then to work on the project, and definitely whatever we are thinking in our mind, वो idea कहीं ना कहीं पहले implement हो चुका होता है, and then we need to improvise that idea. कि अगर हम किसी पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक के बारे में सोच रहे हैं तो डेफिनेटली ऐसा होता है कि हम गूगल पे सर्च करने जाते हैं, देखते हैं कि ये जो टॉपिक है ये ऑलरेडी बन चुका है, ये जो प्रोजेक्ट है ये ऑलरेडी बन चुका है, नाउ व्हाट एल्स वी हैव कि हम इसमें कोई ना कोई मॉडिफिकेशंस कर सकें। लेट्स सी कि जिसने पहले बनाया उसने किस टेक्नोलॉजी को, किस एल्गोरिथम को यूज किया और उसमें क्या पैरामीटर्स को कंसीडर किया, नाउ व्हाट वी कैन चेंज टू इम्प्रोवाइज ऑल दोज थिंग्स। सो फॉर दैट फर्स्ट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि जिसने इसको बनाया उसने इसमें कितना काम किया, and if we start reading about all those data which he has or she has provided, it takes a lot of time of us, right? So better not to waste our time. We can check all those mathematical equations or expressions जो उसने किए हैं, वो सब हम MATLAB पे लाके चेक कर सकते हैं, and within 5 to 10 minutes if we start writing the whole code or the mathematical expression, you'll get the output within 5 to 10 minutes. So that was the approach to develop this MATLAB software by MathWorks. Now, if we see this software is not open source, right? We have latest version as 2023A. So I'll not suggest you to use 2023A because uska abhi exact version nahi aaya hai. That is called the B version, 2023B. I'll suggest you all to use 2022B, and also that depends upon कि आपका जो PC है उसका configuration क्या है. So as I told you, it's not an open source software. So definitely you need a license to use this software. Also, you can use the web version of this MATLAB. But when we are going for the simulating part, जहाँ पे हम अपने व्हीकल को डिजाइन करेंगे, that time it will be so difficult to use the Simulink in the web version because उसके लिए हमें बहुत अच्छा ब्राउजर और एक बहुत अच्छा सिस्टम रिक्वायर्ड है। सो आई विल सजेस्ट यू गाइस कि आप अपने पीसी की कंपैटिबिलिटी के अकॉर्डिंग अपना एक सॉफ्टवेयर मैटलैब का एक वर्जन यूज करें, अदरवाइज आप वेब वर्जन तो यूज कर ही सकते हैं, नो प्रॉब्लम इन दैट केस। एंड अब कंपैटिबिलिटी की बात आती है तो फॉर एग्जांपल इफ आई टेल यू अबाउट द 2022B, so at least you need 8 GB RAM, 2 GB graphics, and then 512 SSD, and at least i5 or i7 processors. So i5 or Ryzen 5 though both are equivalent, so you can use any one of them, right? अगर आपके पास इससे कम सिस्टम कॉन्फ़िगरेशन है, then you can go back to 2020, 2021, 2019, 2018. So whatever software you guys need, you can just ask me. I will send you the link to download. अगर मैं 2022 की बात करूं तो you need to download round about 20 GB, एंड ऐसे ही मतलब ऑलमोस्ट आप देखेंगे तो इट स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम 5 GB, 7 GB, 10 GB, 19 GB, 20 GB, इस तरह का ही आपको पैकेज मिलेगा। डेट ऑल्सो डिपेंड्स कि आप कौन सा वर्जन यूज करना चाह रहे हैं। So why they are increasing the size of this MATLAB version day by day? Because you know I was telling you that MATLAB was first developed in 1960 with the motive of solving the problems related to metrics only. But later on they started doing the mathematical operations as well. So size increased हुआ, and then later on they started including the toolboxes of specified engineering branches, because you know all the engineering problem have one mathematical expression or a mathematical equation, और उसी equation को MATLAB is capable to solve. That is why they started including the specified toolboxes of engineering. Like we have different toolbox for electronics, for electrical, for mechanical, civil, computer science. For almost for all the branches, we have a different toolbox list here. If we say some examples about electronics, we have digital signal processing, image processing, then we have embedded, we have VLSI, VSDL toolbox, FPGA toolbox. So these are the core toolbox of electronics. Now, if we see the electrical part, then we have power system, control system, PLC system, then we have electric vehicles, electric vehicle design scenario, And then if we talk about the mechanical, we have some analysis related tool, structure related tool for civil, aerospace, petroleum, chemical. So all those branches are included in this MATLAB software. That is why day by day इसका जो size है वो increase हो रहा है, and every year they launch a new version. If you want to purchase the licensed version of the MATLAB, you need to spend almost about 1 to 2 lakh for the single user. And if you are looking forward for multi users, you need to pay at least 10 to 12 lakhs for the license of this, and which will be valid only for 1 to 3 years. And then again, you need to renew it by paying some sort of amount. But don't you worry, the version which I'll give you is the different version. I'll not speak here because the session is recording and we'll upload it somewhere. So I'll not use that proper keyword, which version I'm going to share you. But I hope that you guys are from engineering background and you know what I exactly wants to say. So the version which I will share you is not going to expire anyhow. You just need to insert 2 or 3 files which I will share in the package of that MATLAB, right? So if we talk about the first screen of the MATLAB, it looks something like this. And here we can see the different options. The first one is called the general toolbar. The top one, this one is called the general toolbar, where we can open, save, close, edit the files, as well as we can access the layout where we need the command window, where if we don't need the workspace, or if we don't need it in horizontal configuration, we need it in vertical configuration, or if we want to change the font size, if we want to open the Simulink. So everything we can do from this general toolbar. Now the next is the command window, where we can write any of the command to solve, where we can write any of the mathematical expression to solve. And the command window is like whatever you are going to input here, you'll get the exact output within like seconds, right? जैसे एक आर्मी है, आर्मी में एक कमांडर है, तो आपने देखा है कि अगर कोई भी कमांडर अगर कोई सिग्नल दे रहा है तो that has to be solved at the same time. So the same thing is at the command window. If you put any kind of mathematical expression or your equation here, you'll get an output very soon within like 5 to 10 seconds, right? And then we have a workspace where we can save our variables. So what are the variables? Like if we talk about the constants in the variables, we all know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are the constant numbers. And the variables are like A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, where we can assign any constant numbers to them. Like sometimes I'm saying A is equals to 5, and after 5 minutes I want to change the value. I'm saying A is equals to 10. So that means A is a variable. So here if we see in this Excel sheet as well, we change the weight from 1000 kg to 1300 kg. That means weight, width, height, rolling resistance, air density. All these things are the variables where we can change the parametric values. So whatever variable you are going to define in this MATLAB, that will be automatically saved into a workspace. So workspace is basically to record your all the variables, right? Whenever we do any kind of programming in any kind of language or software, we know that particular software is having a library where we have two type of function. One is called the user defined, whereas other one is called the predefined. So predefined are those which are already defined in the library of the system or the software, and user defined are those which we are going to access for ourselves, right? Like the variables. So user defined function or user defined variable are going to store in the workspace in the work directory, right? User defined variable in workspace and user defined function in work directory. So functions are what? If you already have a function to calculate the sum, but somehow you want to create your own function to calculate the sum or the division or any other thing, then you can create your own commands, and that is called a function which you can store into the work directory. So work directory is nothing but a place where you can save all your files, where you can save all your blocks, functions, commands, right? So these are the basic overview of the MATLAB. Now the version which I do have is the 2019. According to my configuration, I'm using this one, right? And I'm more comfortable in this version because the GUI is much better than other versions. If we see 2013, that is also the best version. And if we see the oldest 25 version, that is 2005, that is also one of the best versions. So I recommend to use 2005, 2013, and 2019 version. Rest it is your choice which version you are going to use. But one most important advice here I want to give you, whichever version you are using, whether it is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you have to use the B version, not A version, because A version is just for the trial purpose. Like MathWorks also try the version which we are using. So they first launched the A version to check, and then they launched the B version finally. It is same like the beta versions. You know about the beta applications which we can download from the Play Store. I guess someone wants to say something. Neha, do you want to say something? Anyone else who is having doubt? No one? Okay, fine. So now I was telling you that the command window where we can give any kind of command. For example, I am putting a hello here in this command window and just clicking enter. So after clicking the enter, MATLAB should answer us, and what answer should it give us? If hello function or hello variable is defined in the workspace or the current folder or the library of the MATLAB, it is definitely going to give us the output. And if it is not defined, it will give us the output that hello function is undefined here in the system, or it is undefined variable, or I'm not able to find. So that kind of reply MATLAB is going to give us. So first of all, we need to understand what is the search pattern in the MATLAB. Whatever we are going to run in the MATLAB, first it check the workspace to try to find out that maybe user has defined a variable with the name hello. So अगर इसको workspace पे कुछ नहीं मिल रहा है, then it will move to the current folder or the directory where it will try to find out कि हो सकता है user ने hello name से कुछ प्रोग्राम सेव किया हो या कोई फंक्शन बनाया हो जो उसने करंट फोल्डर में रखा है, और अगर उसको वहां भी नहीं मिलता है तो then it will go to the library of the system. हो सकता है कि एक predefined function है. So in actual, the library, to access the library is the first point. First of all, it will check the library, then it will check the workspace, then it will check the current folder. अगर predefined नहीं है तो workspace में user defined वेरिएबल, और अगर यूजर डिफाइंड वेरिएबल भी नहीं है तो मे बी यूजर डिफाइंड फंक्शन. दिस वे अगर इसको कुछ मिलता है तो इट विल गिव यू अ रिप्लाई, अदरवाइज इट विल गिव यू द रिप्लाई व्हिच यू कैन सी इन द रेड कलर हियर इन दिस कमांड विंडो, दैट इज unrecognized function or variable hello. Now for example, I am saying hello is equals to 5. So you can see here in the workspace it has defined the value of hello as 5. Now the next time if I ask what is hello, so every time it is giving me the reply, right? And even if I say a is equals to 5, b is equals to 6, and c is equals to a plus b, definitely it will give us the reply that is 5 plus 6, 11. Now you can check in the workspace that we have all the variables defined like a, b, c, hello. And if I want to clear any one of them, because if I enter a, b, c, hello, it is giving us the reply to all those variables. But if I say clear a, so now you can see the a is not available in workspace, that is cleared. And even if I say clear b, now if I'll ask a and b, it will give us the error like this. And if I want to delete all of them together, we can say clear all, right? So clear all command will clear all the variables from workspace. And the next time if you ask a, b, c, or your hello, it's not going to give us the output, right? Whatever we are going to input in the command window, we can check all the commands are still there, right? Right now the cursor is on the down. If I want it to on the top from where we started, we can simply say CLC. CLC is the clear command window, right? If I want to ask the date, it will give us the exact date. If I want to ask who will not work right now, I will tell you about the who later. Pi is the predefined, that is 3.1416. I is the iota, that is complex number. Now if I want to check the sign value, sign 45, it will give us the error. Now even if I want to check this way, sign multiplied by 45, it will give us the error. If I will write like this, again it will give us the error, because I want to check the trigonometric function where sine is the trigonometric function and 45 is the angle. So we need to write it like this. Okay, I'm writing it for sine 90 for now, and the value which I'm getting is 0.8940. As we all know that the value of sine 90 is 1, and it is giving us the 0.89 because the angle which we are getting or we are writing here is in the radians. So it's not giving us the sine 90 degree, it's giving us the sine 90 radian. If we want to calculate the value in the degree, we need to simply write sine p 90, or the second option is you can simply write sine 90 then multiply it by pi by 180 to convert from radian to degrees, right? So this is the exact way to write the commands in the command window. That is why I'm telling you, whether we have all the specified toolboxes for different branches, but first we need to also understand the basic part which is common to all branches, that is how to enter the commands in the MATLAB, right? So let's see one small problem, that is W is equals to 4U divided by 3V. This we have to calculate. Okay, so here if we see there are three unknown variables. The first one is W, the second one is U, and third one is V. But W, it's not, at W it's not going to give us the error. Why? Because W is on the left side. So whatever we write on the left side is called left hand operand. मतलब इसका ये हुआ कि जो भी आप लेफ्ट साइड पे W या कुछ भी आप राइट करते हैं, दैट मीन कि आप उसको डिफाइन करने जा रहे हैं, उसको असाइन करने जा रहे हैं। जैसे हमने अभी क्या बोला था, a इज इक्वल्स टू 5, तो a में उसने एरर नहीं दिया बिकॉज आप बोलने जा रहे हैं कि a की वैल्यू कितनी है, 5 है। सो इन द सेम वे वी आर सेइंग w इज इक्वल्स टू 4u डिवाइडेड बाय 3v, बट यहाँ पे ये हमें एरर दे रहा है। और अगर हम इस एरर को देखें तो बोल रहा है इनवैलिड एक्सप्रेशन। इनवैलिड एक्सप्रेशन मतलब 4 और u के बीच में एक रिलेशन है, वो आपको बताना है। और वो रिलेशन क्या है, w इज इक्वल्स टू 4 मल्टीप्लाइड बाय u, right? Then let's write 3b. Again, it will give us the error in 3b because we have not defined what is the relation between 3 and b. So now let's write 3 multiplied by b. So now it's giving us the error in u. So now we need to define the value of u. For example, it is 4. Now let's check that command again. So now it is giving us the error in b. And if now we define the value of b to 5, then it will calculate the exact output. So what exactly I want to tell you by doing all these things, whatever command you are entering in the command window, MATLAB will execute that command element by element and line by line. So element by element mean if we write w is equals to 4u divided by 3v, that means first it will check 4u in the numerator, then it will check 3v in the denominator. So first it will check 4, then 3, then relation between 4 and u, then relation between 3 and v, and then it will check the numerator u, and then it will check the denominator v. So that means it will check element by element. And if we have multiple lines of code, like 5 or 10 lines of code, then definitely first it will check the first line, then second line, then third line. This way it will go. So element by element and line by line is the process of checking the MATLAB commands in the MATLAB command window, right? Now let's see one simple example. I want this input from your side, okay? Suppose I want to create a line. Suppose I want to create a line. To create a line, how many points are required? Let's say I have x and y axis 2D, okay, and I have value of x is equals to 2 and y is equals to 3. So can we create the line using this? Yes. No. How is that possible? Please explain. No, 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 no. It's not the correct answer. What about you guys who have joined this session from GoToMeet? Neha, Akash, Kyanendra, Vaibhav. What I asked, I'm asking the question again. Suppose x is equals to 2 and y is equals to 3. So can we create a line using this? Lalit, Dimple, yes. Rohit is saying yes, sir. We can. No, Rohit, how we can create
Yes,
it?
sir.
Just yes, Dimple. Can we create the line?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about others?
Yes, sir.
Guys, we cannot create it. Why you are giving this answer? See, this is axis, okay? This is x, y axis, right? So this one is the x axis. We all know that. I don't need to tell you that, right? So somewhere, if we see the x is equals to 2 and y is equals to 3 is lying here, right? I'm considering this. That x is equals to 2 and y is equals to 3 is the point lying here. Where if we check the x value is 2 and y value is 3 at this point. So how can we create the line using a single point? Is that possible? We can create, to create the line, we at least need two variables, right? Or 2 points. For example, we have one more where we have now x is equals to 5 and y is equals to again 3. So at this point, x is 5 and y is same as 3. That means the point is somewhere at this. Now we can create the line, right? To join these points, we can create the line. So what overall I want to tell you, to create any line, we at least need 2 points, right? And 2 points for x and 2 points for y. If we are talking about the axis, if we are not talking about the axis, then we have x is equals to 2, x is equals to 3. We can create a simple line there. So this is the way, right? I guess now it is clear because I'm getting a lot of messages from Rohit, Rishabh, Akash, and others. So that means now it is clear to you guys, right? Let's get back to this. So what I was telling you, for example, I have an equation y is equals to x and I want to plot it, right? So it's not feasible because y is equals to x, but what about x? Because x is undefined here. So let's first define the x value to 1. Then we are saying y is equals to x. That means y is equals to also 1. You can check it here. X is 1 and y is also 1. So right now we are having only 1 point. That is x value is 1 and y value is 1. So we cannot create any line using this. But yes, if we want to create the line, we need multiple values for the x, and accordingly we need the multiple values for y, and then we can create a line. So for that, first we need to understand how to write matrix in MATLAB. Okay, so let's understand this. For example, x is equals to, we have to write five values, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. For example, for x we need to write five values, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So how I am writing it? 1, okay, space 2, space 3, space 4, space 5. So this way if we start writing it, but it will understand that x value is 12,345. But in actual, what we want to say, that the value of x is sometime 1, sometime 2, sometime 3, sometime 4, sometime 5. That means x is the variable. But if we click enter, it will give us the error. What error? Invalid expression. Define the relation between 1 and 2, then it will give the error 2 and 3, then 3 and 4, then 4 and 5. But we don't have any relation between these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have these as a different numbers. So for that, whenever we are writing a matrix, we just need to put a square bracket. See, whenever we are doing MATLAB, there are some brackets which we have to use here. Small bracket, square bracket, and curly bracket, right? Curly bracket we are not going to discuss right now. Small bracket we use to solve the mathematical expressions or mathematical equations. Whatever mathematical expression you are going to write, you have to strictly follow the BODMAS, that is the hierarchy: bracket, open, divide, multiply, addition, subtraction. And then when you are going to use the square bracket, that means you are going to define the matrix. Okay, so now let's write it this way: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and click enter. So now it is giving us what? Column 1 to 5, column 1 to 5, because X is a matrix that can be called as one dimensional row vector, where we have only one row but five columns. So five columns are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then only one row that is like this. That is called one dimensional row vector. So what actually I was telling you, that whenever we are going to write the values for the matrix in the MATLAB, what we have to check, we have to simply check the square bracket. Right now let's write something else. Suppose the x value is starting from 1 to 100. So if we start writing like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this will be so difficult, right? So what we can do, we have another way, that is this way. X is equals to 1 to 100, and if we click enter, we can see all the value, because the screen is not so big, so that is why it is dividing them in the columns. So column 1 to 4 is 1 to 4, then column 5 to 8 is 5 6 7 8, then column 9 to 12 it is 9 10 11 12, and this way it is writing for all other columns. That means only single row is there and multiple 100 columns are there. Now if the value of x is 1 to 10, suppose, we can write it this way. And if value is 1 to 10, but only odd numbers are required, so we can write this way, 1 to 10. So 2 here is showing that there is a difference between there is a difference of 2. That means the 1 is the start point, 10 is the final point, and 2 is the difference. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, sorry, not 11, 9, till 9 we have these numbers. So that is how it is writing, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So can you please tell me now, if I have to write the even numbers starting from 1 to 10, how to write? I'm copying this so that you can give me the idea about the odd numbers. Sorry, even numbers. Please, anyone, please. Why I need to specify कि अभी Zoom वाले बोलेंगे, अभी Gmeet वाले बोलेंगे, अभी GoTo वाले बोलेंगे, आप कोई भी बोल सकते हैं, no problem. So someone said replace 1 with 2, someone said replace 2 with 1. Okay. Maybe आप सही हो और मैं गलत समझ रहा हूँ, तो एक बार हम करके देख लेते हैं, because I am thinking कि आप इसके बारे में बोल रहे हैं, 2 को 1 में चेंज करें या 1 को 2 को. I hope आप इसके लिए नहीं बोल रहे होंगे, आप इसके लिए बोल रहे होंगे. तो 2:2:10 अगर हम करते हैं तो ये मुझे सारे इवन नंबर्स प्रोवाइड कर देगा, 2 4 6 8 10. So this way, even if you have to write starting from 1 to 1000 10,000, तो आप ऐसे इसमें write कर सकते हैं. There is no such problem. Okay. So now we got to know how we can write the multiple values. So now let's come back to that point कि हम दो points में कैसे required हैं कोई भी graph बनाने के लिए, कोई भी line बनाने के लिए. Why we are understanding this? It is very important because हम क्या करने जा रहे हैं, हम EVs पे वर्क करने जा रहे हैं. एंड इवन आई टोल्ड यू एट द स्टार्ट ऑफ दिस सेशन कि EVs को चेक करने के लिए we have to observe the speed, we have to observe the forces, we have to observe a lot of parameters. So all to observe all those parameters, first we need to check what? We need to check graph, right? How graph is continuously changing, how the values are continuously changing. So to observe those things, we need to create the graph, and to create the graph, first we have to know कि कैसे graph बनाया जाता है. So that's what we are learning here right now. Okay. So what I was giving you example. If suppose now we are going to change the example. Earlier it was y is equals to x. Now I'm changing it to y is equals to sine of x. Okay. First of all, we need to define the values of x, and if you see in the workspace, the values for the x is already defined as 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Right? Now, if we see the values for the y, we are getting this way. ठीक है, अभी हम थोड़ा और चेंज करते हैं. Now I am saying first clear all the variables from the workspace, and then define y is equals to, right now it's not taking any command because it is showing us that MATLAB is busy in CLC command. उसके बाद वो बाहर नहीं निकला है, अभी वो बाहर निकला. So now we can execute clear all. Now we can execute the next command, that is x is equals to suppose 1 to 100 and then difference of 0.1. And then if I click enter and say y is equals to sine of x, then we have the multiple values for y as well. Okay. Now let's create the graph. So the simple command is plot x comma y, nothing else. Plot x comma y. So just after clicking or just entering this command, we'll get a graph and which will show us the relation between x and y. So let's wait for it because right now it is showing us the busy. Busy, that means it is executing the last command. यहाँ पे एक डबल एरो भी दिखता है जो आपको दिखाता है कि मैटलैब अभी फ्री नहीं है, आपको अभी नेक्स्ट कमांड राइट नहीं करनी है, अगर आप राइट करते हैं तो वो एग्जीक्यूट नहीं होगी. सो लेट्स वेट फॉर इट, which output we are going to get here. So ये ऑलरेडी रन हो चुका है एंड अभी ग्राफ जनरेट नहीं हुआ है. नाउ द ग्राफ इज बीइंग जनरेटेड, ओपन हो रहा है. फिगर 1 इज इन फ्रंट ऑफ अस एंड नाउ वी कैन सी कि ये एक, क्या ये एक साइन प्लॉट है जो हमने प्लॉट किया था. तो यस, इट इज लुकिंग समथिंग लाइक द साइन प्लॉट. हमने बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स यहाँ पे कंसीडर किए, इसलिए जो ग्राफ है वो इस तरह का बन के आ रहा है. नाउ लेट्स चेंज इट अगेन. Now I am changing the value of x starting from 1 to 10 with a difference of 0.1, and then I am defining it again y is equals to sin x to change all the values of y as well, and then plot it, plot x comma y. So now if I go to this, we can see it is a pure sine plot. Earlier also it was sine plot, but there were lot of points, इसलिए हमको उसकी फ्रीक्वेंसीज बहुत ज्यादा दिख रही थी. अभी हमने उन फ्रीक्वेंसीज को कम किया है अपने पॉइंट्स को कम करके, राइट. Now if I plot something else, like this time I am saying y is equals to cos x, not sin x, cos x, and again plot x comma y. So we need to check the graph. So now it has been changed to the cosine plot, right? You know, मुझे बार बार इस प्लॉट को आपको ओपन करके दिखाना पड़ रहा है. So what is the best way? We can simply write close all. Before running the plot command, first write close all, because close all command will close all the tabs and the windows of the graphs. And then if we write plot x comma y, now we can see कि खुद से एक pop-up generate हो गया आएगा. Now let's see if I want to run it again, close all, and then again plot x comma y, फिर से मेरे सामने एक pop-up generate हुआ है. That means again and again I don't need to go to the taskbar to open this. Is it clear or any doubts? Because next at the next place, now we are going to understand how to save the programs. That will be the last thing, and that will move, after that we'll move directly to the electric vehicles. Okay, fine, no doubts, very good. So now let's see, अगर मुझे ये same program दोबारा से use करना है, because you know if I write the command exit and click enter, MATLAB will close, right? और अगर मैं MATLAB को दोबारा से open करता हूँ तो जितना भी command window में हमने write किया है, that all will vanish. Now let's say if we are creating any project where we have the code of 1000 lines और हमने उन सबको command window पे execute किया और हमारा MATLAB anyhow बंद हो गया, लाइट चली गई, पीसी की बैटरी लो हो गई, या फिर हमें कहीं जाना पड़ा और वापस आके उस पर काम करना चाहेंगे और उस 1000 लाइंस को दोबारा से लिखना पड़ेगा. तो द बेस्ट वे इज टू सेव योर प्रोग्राम, नॉट टू राइट योर कमांड्स डायरेक्टली इनटू कमांड विंडो. If you have only 1 or 2 line of the codes, you can write, but if you have more lines, you can go to this option that is called new script. So new script is the place where we can write the .m files, where we can write .m files, and we can save those files for the future purpose. So whenever I start this editor window, this is called the editor window, and I can even dock it to the MATLAB software itself. See, now here it is the editor window, here it is the command window, and if you don't want to dock, you have the undock option as well. So that means again and again you need to switch it like this. So now it's up to you. I do prefer doc editor, right? So now whenever I start writing any code, let's say now we are writing it for the different plot. जब भी मैं write करने जाता हूँ तो the first command which I enter is close all, so that अगर कोई figure window open है तो उसे close करो. कोई भी पहले से अगर variable defined है workspace में तो उसे clear करो by using the clear all command, and then CLC I use to clear command window. Now we have to define the value of x. For example, x is starting from 1 to difference of 0.1 to 10. And then y is equals to, let's say this time it is sine of x and plus cos of x. Okay. And then we have to plot it. Plot x comma y. Now let's save it. To save it, we have an option save or control plus S. So it has opened a window. I'm saving it to the pictures folder, and here I'm creating a new folder. The folder name is suppose 13th and 14th May. here I'm saving it, and the first file which I'm doing is P means first P means program, and one means the first program. Okay, whenever we are going to save the program in the MATLAB, we don't have save like 1.m, because मैंने आपको बताया है कि जितने भी आप फंक्शंस या प्रोग्राम सेव करेंगे वो आपके वर्क डायरेक्टरी में सेव होंगे, और वर्क डायरेक्टरी से ही ये प्रोग्राम को रन करने का ट्राई करेगा। बट वन नाम से कोई प्रोग्राम नहीं हो सकता, बिकॉज वन इज ए न्यूमेरिक नंबर। तो ये अंडरस्टैंड नहीं कर पाएगा कि मुझे वन न्यूमेरिक नंबर को रन करना है या वन डॉट एम को रन करना है, इसलिए आपका प्रोग्राम रन ही नहीं कर पाएगा। इसलिए you don't have to save your program starting with the numerics, as well as you are not allowed to use the space while saving your program, as well as you cannot use the special characters like at the rate, hyphen, percentage, power, multiply. You cannot use all those things. If you want to put a space like p space 1, you cannot write like this, but if you want to use the space, there is a way you can use p underscore 1. Although underscore is the special character, but जब ये इसको understand करता है तो what it understand कि हमारा जो underscore है वो as a space use हुआ है, right? So now if we see, I'll save it, and then I'll simply click on this run option. Some students may face this issue. होता क्या है कि वो home tab पे होते हैं, then they try to find out where is the run button. So you have to switch to the editor tab. There you'll be having the run button. Okay. And if I'll run, ये मना कर रहा है अभी run करने के लिए, because p1m is not found in the current folder. Now this is the current folder, the work directory. If you remember, हमने जो प्रोग्राम अभी सेव किया वो सेव किया कहाँ पे? I'll show you that thing. हमने प्रोग्राम सेव किया पिक्चर्स में, एंड पिक्चर्स की लोकेशन है दिस पीसी पिक्चर्स, एंड देन उसके अंदर हमारे पास एक फोल्डर है 13th 14th में, हियर आई सेव दिस, राइट? बट व्हेन आई एम रनिंग द करंट फोल्डर, तो ये लोकेशन है सी प्रोग्राम फाइल poly space 2019 and bin. So that is why it is unable to run your program. So now we are asking it to change the location first. So I'm going to C drive again, and in C drive it should be users, and then aces, and then pictures. Where is pictures? Why I cannot see the folder of pictures? Yes, it is here. Let's open it, pictures, and then 13th and 14th May. So now we have defined the exact locations, the user, aces, pictures, 13th and 14th May, and p1.m. Okay, now we can simply click on run. तो इसने इस प्रोग्राम को रन किया। कमांड विंडो में कोई आउटपुट नहीं है, और मेरे पास sin x plus cos x का प्लॉट ऐसा आया। कमांड विंडो में कोई भी आउटपुट नहीं है, बिकॉज हमने सारी लाइंस को टर्मिनेट किया है। अगर हम इनको हटा दें तो कमांड विंडो में भी बहुत कुछ प्रिंट हो जाएगा like this. Okay, and this is the output. Now if I want to apply the title, first of all tell me, do you guys have any doubts? If yes, then we
No,
will
sir.
understand those. And okay, that's great. Good. Fine. Okay, let's go ahead. Now I'm going to not this, I'm going to create some different properties on this. Suppose if I want to apply the title here on the top, I can simply write title and then plot of x and y, this way. And now let's save its control. Let's save it, control S, and again run it. So now if we see, the plot will automatically open and the title is applied there, right? Plot of x and y. And now if I want to apply कि ये मेरा x axis है and this one is my y axis, how we can write it? Simply we can go here and we can say x label x. Whatever we have to write, like जो भी हमारा string part है, string मतलब ये part है, इसको हमें single inverted commas में enclose करना है, because अगर हम single commas में enclose नहीं करते हैं तो ये फिर error देना start करेगा। क्यों देगा error? क्योंकि title एक predefined command है, plot एक predefined command है, but off नहीं है, इसलिए आपको नहीं समझेगा और एरर दे देगा। दूसरी बात, उससे पहले ये एरर प्लॉट में ही दे देगा, बिकॉज जो प्लॉट हमारी कमांड होती है उसके साथ हमें उसके वेरिएबल्स पे डिफाइन करने हैं कि किसका प्लॉट बनाना है, और यहाँ पे आप सिर्फ प्लॉट लिखते हैं तो वो डेफिनेटली इट्स गोइंग टू गिव अस द एरर कि आपने इस कमांड को कंप्लीट नहीं किया है। ओके, नाउ लेट्स चेक इट फॉर वाई लेबल। then run it. So now if we see the graph, it will give us the x and the y value in the, I mean x and y label in the axis, right? Now next, suppose I have two y variables, one is y1 and other one is y2, where it is sine of x. Now let's change it. This is sine x only and this is cos x only. Okay. Why I am doing it? Because we all know कि हमें कि साइन का प्लॉट कैसा दिखता है और कोसाइन का प्लॉट कैसा दिखता है. सबको टर्मिनेट भी कर देते हैं. After this, I am saying plot x comma y1, and after this line, I am saying plot x comma y2. So if we run this, now we are going to get two graphs on the plot x comma y1 that is sin x and x comma y2 that is cos x. बट अगर हम इस आउटपुट को यहाँ चेक कर रहे हैं तो ये सिर्फ cos x ही प्लॉट कर रहा है. इट्स नॉट गिविंग अस द आउटपुट फॉर द sin x एंड द रीजन इज व्हाई, बिकॉज आपने बोला sin x को प्लॉट करो, फिर आपने बोल दिया cos x को प्लॉट करो, तो इसने sin x को प्लॉट किया बट इतने कम टाइम के लिए प्लॉट किया कि हम उसको देख ही नहीं पाए. वो चीज हमारे सामने विजिबल नहीं हुई, राइट? विजिबल क्यों नहीं हुई? क्योंकि वो उसको ओवरराइड करके चला गया. इसलिए हमें फाइनली जो आउटपुट मिला वो x, y2 का मिला, मतलब cos x का मिला. बट इफ वी वांट टू सी बोथ, हमें एक कमांड एंटर करनी है दैट इज कॉल्ड होल्ड ऑन. सो होल्ड ऑन इज लाइक आप x, y1 को प्लॉट करो, फिर होल्ड करो और फिर x, y2 को प्लॉट करो. This way you can see now it is plotting in two different colors. Red color is the cos x and the blue color is the sin x, right? It is very easy to understand कि कौन सा sin है कौन सा cosine है. Now if I am saying that we are doing any kind of research work और उस research work का क्या output आने वाला है, let's say we are going to plot for the speed and the forces of electric vehicles, तो उसका क्या आउटपुट आने वाला है we don't know, right? और इस तरह से अगर वो दोनों ग्राफ्स को ओवरराइड करके डिफरेंट कलर्स में असाइन करता है तो विल नॉट एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई व्हिच वन इज द ग्राफ फॉर द स्पीड, व्हिच वन इज द ग्राफ फॉर द फोर्स, लेट्स से. सो अब उन दोनों को आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए वी नीड टू स्पेसिफाई द कलर्स, बिकॉज इसने ऑटोमेटेड कलर्स असाइन किए हैं. नाउ वी नीड टू स्पेसिफाई द कलर्स and for that we have this option. Simply write the comma here and then write the red color, which should be in single inverted or single quotes because it's a kind of string. Same way we are now writing it here. Y is for yellow, okay? And now if you run it, we will see the sin x in the red color and the cos x in the yellow color. So this way, if we are doing any kind of research work for the electric vehicles or anything else related to the MATLAB, we can specify the color options. We have different color options like red, yellow, black, blue, white, cyan, magenta. These are the colors available here, right? So this is the way how we can create the plots. Even two plots we can create in just one graph, right? Yeah, or just one window like this. Now, if we have to divide it in two parts, like the sin x I want in the upper part and the cos x I want in the lower part, then we have something else. First of all, let's check the command. We have one command that is called subplot. Now we are dividing one plot into two different parts, and what I'm saying, the first one on the top and the second one on the bottom. So now let's try to understand this by the matrix. Imagine करते हैं अपने mind में, ऊपर वाला जो part है और एक नीचे वाला पार्ट है, मतलब दो रो बन रही है, बट कॉलम एक ही है. Am I right? दो रो बन रही है एंड कॉलम एक ही है. So that means the command is what? To write the syntax. First, let's write the syntax. I'm putting the percentage. Percentage का मतलब यहाँ पे comment है. जैसे आप डबल स्लैश का यूज करते हैं किसी दूसरी लैंग्वेज में, यहाँ पे हम परसेंट का यूज करते हैं कमेंट करने के लिए, मतलब कि ये इस कमांड को एग्जीक्यूट नहीं करेगा. Syntax is row, comma, column, comma, position. Okay. So now let's write the actual command that is subplot. कितनी रो required थी मुझे? 2 rows. So let's write it 2. Columns only 1 and the first position. So now it will open the first position only, this position. Now if we write subplot 2 comma 2 comma 2, so this will now open the second position as well. Is it clear? Now let's divide it into 4 parts. Okay, 4 parts mean we need 2 rows, 2 columns. Second way is 1 row, 4 columns, and third way is 4 rows and 1 column. So let's try all of them one by one. सबसे पहले हम close out की command देते हैं, फिर बोलते हैं subplot 2 rows 2 column first position. Let's see ये क्या देने वाला है, देखिए. ठीक है. Now subplot 2 comma 1 comma 2 second position. So this is the second position. Now if we write subplot 2 comma 2 comma 3, that means this one is the third position. And then if we write subplot 2 comma 2 comma 4, then it is the next position. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And if we write it in a different way, जो मैंने आपको बोला कि हम इसको 1 रो और 4 कॉलम्स में भी डिवाइड कर सकते हैं. तो सब प्लॉट 1 रो 4 columns and first position. Let's see. देखिए first position. Now subplot 1 comma 4 comma 2. So this is the second position. And then subplot 1 comma 4 comma 3. So this one is the third position. And then finally we'll be having it 1 4 4, the fourth position. Okay. Now we can also divide it in one more way. That is 4 rows and 1 column. Okay. So subplot 4 rows 1 column first position. टॉप पे आ गया है. 4 रोज मतलब एक के नीचे एक बनने वाला है. और नेक्स्ट इज 4 रो 1 comma 2 second position, then third position, and then finally it is the fourth position. Now if we see, तो ये एक के नीचे एक हमारा 4 हमारे क्या बन गए हैं, ग्राफ बन रहे हैं. लेकिन इसमें कुछ अभी प्लॉट नहीं हो रहा है क्योंकि हमने प्लॉट की कोई कमांड दी ही नहीं है. सो नाउ लेट्स अप्लाई दिस कमांड हियर. नाउ आई एम सेइंग मुझे 2 प्लॉट करने हैं एक के नीचे एक, मतलब 2 रो और 1 कॉलम मुझे रिक्वायर्ड है. तो सब प्लॉट 2 rows 1 column and first position. Let's copy this command. Now hold on is not required, so let's paste it, and 2 comma 1 comma 2. Now let's run it. See, ऊपर हमारा एक प्लॉट बना है that is for sin x, and नीचे एक प्लॉट बना है that is for cos x. अब हमने इनको सेपरेट कर दिया है, तो it is also not mandatory to use the colors. We can even delete these things. भाई गलत नहीं है, आप करना चाहें तो आप कर भी सकते हैं, ऐसा कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. So let's run this, and now here are the 2 plots. First one is cos x and second one is sin x. Sorry, first one is sin x and second one is cos x. Now if you see कि जो ये टाइटल और जो लेबल अप्लाई कर रहा है ये सिर्फ सेकंड प्लॉट पे अप्लाई कर रहा है, फर्स्ट पे अप्लाई नहीं कर रहा है. व्हाई? बिकॉज हमने ये कमांड सिर्फ सेकंड वाले के बाद ही लिखी है. सो वी नीड टू कॉपी होल कमांड एंड वी कैन राइट आफ्टर दिस प्लॉट एज वेल. एंड हियर लेट मी अनडॉक इट, तो आप पूरा दिखाएंगे. तो हमने यहाँ पे सब प्लॉट और फिर प्लॉट किया और उसके बाद टाइटल अप्लाई किया. तो ये जो हमारा प्लॉट है ये साइन एक्स का है, तो चेंज कर देते हैं इसको साइन एक्स. एंड फिर हमने दूसरा प्लॉट किया x, y2, और ये हमारा प्लॉट cos x का है, तो इसको हम cos x कर देते हैं. ये हमारा y1 है और ये हमारा y2 है. नाउ लेट्स रन दिस. Now we'll see the output, exact output, where we can even see the titles, the labels x, y2, x, y1. So till now, do you guys have any doubts? No doubts. Okay. So now we can start the next part, that is simulating. Give me a second. So how I open this Simulink? Let's get back to the MATLAB first. Here we have an option to open the Simulink. So I simply clicked here, and then if we check, इसने कुछ इस तरह का open किया है, which will take some time to open this because हमने इसको अभी first time मैंने open नहीं किया. आप अपने PC में अगर इसको पहली बार use करेंगे तो it will take some time, right? Now Simulink में what we can do, whatever programs we are creating in the MATLAB, उसको हम सिमुलिंक में मॉडल्स बना के उसके ग्राफ्स को चेक कर सकते हैं, पैरामीट्रिक वैल्यूज को चेंज कर सकते हैं. तो वी कैन सिंपली से कि हमारे पास मैटलैब में 2 तरह के प्रोग्रामिंग ऑप्शंस हैं. पहला जिसको हम बोल रहे हैं ग्राफिकल मॉडलिंग, जो हम करेंगे सिमुलिंक से, और दूसरा हमने जिसको बोला मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग, जो अभी तक हम करते आए, जो अभी तक हमने किया थोड़ी देर पहले तक, राइट? So mathematical modeling is when we write any program in the command window or the work editor, and the second one or second option is the graphical modeling, which we are now going to start. तो आज के लिए हम क्या करते हैं, एक छोटा सा एक मॉडल बनाते हैं जो हमारा नॉर्मली हमारी जो हमने अभी तक पढ़ा है, क्या पढ़ा है, इलेक्ट्रिकल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स या कुछ भी हम पढ़ के आ रहे हैं इंजीनियरिंग के किसी भी स्पेसिफिक डोमेन से, तो हमने V इक्वल्स टू आई आर सबने पढ़ा है। तो V इक्वल्स टू आई आर के लिए वी आर गोइंग टू क्रिएट अ सिंपल मॉडल एंड देन टुमारो वी विल स्टार्ट क्रिएटिंग द मॉडल्स फॉर इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स। ओके, आज का जो सेशन है उसमें हमने स्टार्टिंग में इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स को समझा, फोर्स पावर कैलकुलेशंस को समझा, व्हाट इज द नीड, प्रॉस एंड कॉन्स, एडवांटेज डिसएडवांटेज, व्हाट आर द टूल्स अवेलेबल, व्हाई डिजाइन सिमुलेशन इज रिक्वायर्ड, इन सब चीजों को समझा और साथ में थोड़ा सा मैटलैब का ओवरव्यू। अब कल के सेशन में नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड अबाउट द कोर पार्ट ऑफ ईवीज, जहाँ पे हम कैसे पावर कन्वर्टर्स, पावर इन्वर्टर्स बना सकते हैं, मोटर कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, स्पीड कंट्रोल, फोर्स कंट्रोल, एवरीथिंग वी कैन अप्लाई। बट बिफोर दैट लेट्स कंप्लीट टुडे सेशन, जिसके लिए हम एक छोटा सा सिमुलेशन बनाने जा रहे हैं। आर यू गाइस रेडी फॉर दैट? Okay, good. Let's start it. So I'm clicking on this create model. Whenever we write mathematical modeling, the extension or the format is .m. And whenever we do the other part which we are doing right now, that is the graphical modeling, that is .slx. मैं कहना क्या चाह रहा हूँ उस चीज को समझिए। जब हम किसी भी प्रोग्राम को सेव करते हैं मैथमेटिकल मतलब कमांड विंडो से ले जाके, तो उसका जो फॉर्मेट है वो .m होता है। और जब भी हम किसी प्रोग्राम को सेव करते हैं मॉडल बनाने के बाद, तो उसका जो एक्सटेंशन है, फॉर्मेट है, वो .slx होता है। लेकिन पुराने वर्जन्स में अगर आप चले जाएं तो वहाँ पे आपको 2016 से पहले के वर्जन में तो आपको .mdl भी मिल जाएगा, डॉट मॉडल उसको हम बोलते हैं। ये हमारी मॉडल विंडो है जहाँ पे अपने पास एक लाइब्रेरी ब्राउजर है। अगर आप इस लाइब्रेरी ब्राउजर को ओपन करते हैं तो यू विल गेट द चांस टू सी कि कौन कौन से स्पेसिफाइड टूल बॉक्सेस हमारे पास यहाँ पे अवेलेबल हैं। अगेन जब हम मॉडलिंग करने जाते हैं तो हम दो तरह से मॉडलिंग कर सकते हैं। द फर्स्ट वे इज कि हम उसमें मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग में, मैथमेटिकल प्रोग्रामिंग नहीं, मॉडलिंग, राइट, मतलब कि नॉर्मल से टूल बॉक्सेस का यूज करके हम ये मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग कर सकते हैं। दूसरा, हम अपनी ब्रांच के स्पेसिफाइड टूल बॉक्सेस का यूज करके उस मॉडलिंग को करें, राइट। सो अभी जो हम फोकस कर रहे हैं वो हम फिलहाल इनिशियल लेवल से स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं। तो डेफिनेटली नाउ वी आर फोकसिंग ऑन व्हाट, कि हम कैसे v इक्वल्स टू आई आर को नॉर्मल ग्राफ से या फिर नॉर्मल मैथमेटिकल ब्लॉक्स का यूज करके बना सकते हैं। तो जब यदि ब्राउजर पे क्लिक करेंगे तो यू विल गेट द चांस कि आपको सारे के सारे स्पेसिफाइड टूल बॉक्सेस दिखना स्टार्ट हो जाएंगे। तो जब हमें अभी यूज करना है वो नॉर्मल है, जो हमें कल यूज करना है वो सिमस्केप, सिम पावर सिस्टम और व्हीकल डिजाइन सिनेरियो। ये हमें तीन, जिसको हम व्हीकल ड्राइव लाइन भी कह सकते हैं, हम इन तीन टूल बॉक्सेस का यूज कल करने वाले हैं। तो अभी ये लोड होगा, थोड़ा सा टाइम लेगा। टिल देन लेट्स वेट फॉर इट एंड आफ्टर दैट वी विल स्टार्ट हाउ वी कैन क्रिएट द मॉडल फॉर v इक्वल्स टू आई। अभी काफी सारे एप्लीकेशंस मतलब बैक टू बैक रन हो रहे हैं। जैसे आपका गो टू मीट है, फिर ब्राउजर्स है, पीपीटी, एक्सेल, पेंट एंड दिस मैटलैब ऑल्सो। इसको थोड़ा सा लोड होने में टाइम लगा, अदरवाइज क्लिक करते ही ये लोड होता है। और हमारे पास ये कुछ ब्लॉक्स हैं जो हम अभी यूज करने वाले हैं, राइट। ये इन्हीं ब्लॉक्स को मैंने क्या बोला, मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग के थ्रू हम इनको नॉर्मल ब्लॉक्स को यूज करेंगे। इन फ्यूचर जैसे हम कल जो यूज करेंगे वो हमारे सिम स्केप टूल बॉक्स है, सिम पावर सिस्टम है। तो वो आपको यहाँ नीचे आप स्क्रॉल करते हैं तो आपको वो टूल बॉक्सेस भी मिल जाएंगे। फिलहाल इसको हम मिनिमाइज करते हैं। देखिए, पहला वे क्या है कि आप लाइब्रेरी ब्राउजर में कौन सा टूल बॉक्स कहाँ से एक्सेस करना है वो याद करिए। अदरवाइज सेकंड ऑप्शन जो हमारे पास है वो ये है कि हम अपने इस पर सिंपली डबल क्लिक कर सकते हैं और जो भी ब्लॉक का नाम आप सर्च करेंगे वो आपको यहाँ मिल जाएगा। तो अभी हम नॉर्मल v इक्वल्स टू आई आर बनाने के लिए v को कैलकुलेट कर रहे हैं, जहाँ पे हम i और r को कांस्टेंट मान के चल रहे हैं। तो कांस्टेंट हमने एक ब्लॉक पिक किया है। ओके, लेट मी जूम इट नाउ। थोड़ा सा लैग कर रहा है ये। ठीक है, हमने ये कांस्टेंट ब्लॉक लिया जिसको हमने अभी क्या क्या रिप्रेजेंट करने जा रहे हैं हम इसको कि ये करंट है, तो लेट्स डिफाइन इट आई। ओके, नाउ आई एम टेकिंग वन मोर ब्लॉक, तो लेट्स कॉपी पेस्ट एंड this I am saying that this one is R. R means the resistor and then हमें V calculate करना है, that means I into R is V. So let's take one more block, okay, और उसके लिए हम बोल रहे हैं प्रोडक्ट ब्लॉक। if you'll go to this like the browser, तो इस ब्राउजर में आप सिमुलिंक में जाएंगे, अगर आपको ये ब्लॉक रिक्वायर्ड है प्रोडक्ट, तो आप मैथ ऑपरेशंस में आएंगे, मैथ ऑपरेशंस में आपको यहाँ पे प्रोडक्ट ब्लॉक मिलेगा, यहाँ से भी आप पिक कर सकते हैं। यहाँ से पिक करने का एक सिंपल सा फंडा है, दैट इज टू ड्रैग इट लाइक दिस, ओके। अदरवाइज सेकंड ऑप्शन आई टोल्ड यू कि आप सिंपली यहाँ पे डबल क्लिक करिए और सर्च करिए प्रोडक्ट, यू विल गेट योर ब्लॉक, ओके। और अब कितने नंबर ऑफ इनपुट्स, मुझे 2 ही चाहिए, तो इसको सिंपली आप यहाँ पे कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं this way, okay, or this way. Now I need to check the output. This is the product of V I into R, that means it is the V, okay. Now we have to check the output. To check the output we have now two options. The first option is display, where we can display the value, and the second option which I am talking, that is the graph. The graph ke liye we have to search scope, okay. So let's connect it here as well, and then I don't need to do anything else. We just need to check it, run करना है। अभी हमने इसको 10 सेकंड्स के लिए रन किया है, ऑल दो कांस्टेंट वैल्यूज हैं तो आउटपुट सेम ही आने वाला है, चाहे आप 1 सेकंड के लिए रन करें चाहे 10 सेकंड्स के लिए रन करें, क्योंकि अभी कोई लोड भी कनेक्ट नहीं किया। नॉर्मली हम v/IR पे चेक कर रहे हैं, तो जैसे ही हम इसको रन करते हैं तो ये रन हो रहा है, नीचे आप देखेंगे 2% रन हो चुका है, और मेरे पास इसके कंप्लीट होने के बाद एक आउटपुट यहाँ पे जनरेट हो जाएगा मेरे डिस्प्ले में, दैट शुड बी 1 into 1 is equals to 1. Now if you want to change the values of this current and resistance, we can simply double click on these blocks to change the value, right? So अभी मुझे आउटपुट मिल रहा है इसका वोल्टेज का 1, और स्कोप में जाके देखेंगे, स्कोप को मैंने डबल क्लिक किया, अगेन इट विल टेक टाइम टू लोड, थोड़ा सा लोड इसके ऊपर से काम करेगा। Okay, scope is there. इस स्कोप में आप देखेंगे तो आपको एक यहाँ पे आपको एक पॉइंट मिल रहा है, क्योंकि आपकी जो वोल्टेज है वो 1 है, राइट। अगर वो कुछ और वैल्यू होती तो वो पॉइंट आपको कहीं और मिलता, और ये एक सिंगल पॉइंट है इसलिए ग्राफ नहीं बन पा रहा है, जो हम पहले ही डिस्कस कर चुके हैं, बट कल हम जरूर देखेंगे कि ग्राफ कैसे बन पाएगा। अच्छा, अभी let's try to change the values. For example, if I'm changing the value for the current, so I simply double clicked here, and now I'm assigning the current is 5 ampere, and the resistance which I'm applying here is now 200 of ohms. So the voltage should be 200 into 5, that should be equals to, I'm running it for only 1 second now. So that should be equals to 200 into 5 is equals to 1000 volt. So let's see if it is giving the output. Yes, it is giving 1000 volt. And if we check this, so here now we are getting 1 point at 1000 of, right? Now if we have to calculate the power, can anyone tell me how to calculate the power using the same model? Anyone tell me that how to calculate the power using the same model? No one? Okay. Yes, exactly. This way we have to do. Right, good. So what we can do, we have different options. Like power is equals to VI. Other option is I square into R, right? So what we can do, either we can take I square and then we can take R. Otherwise, V into I is the option. So let me take one more product block. I'm telling you these things because हम कल ये सब चीजें दोबारा से रिपीट नहीं करने वाले हैं, ठीक है। तो V into I, तो कल हम जो भी ब्लॉक्स बनाएंगे वो आपको पता होना चाहिए कैसे ब्लॉक्स को सर्च करना होता है। Now we got the power here, and then we want to display it, right? So display मेरे पास already है, because this time I don't want to display the voltage, I have to display the power. And अब मुझे स्कोप में देखना है, स्कोप में अगर मुझे वोल्टेज नहीं देखनी है तो I can simply delete it, and then let's connect it here. But suppose if I want to use I want to see both the things, तो स्कोप में जाएंगे, आप डबल क्लिक करेंगे, इधर एक ऑप्शन है आपके पास एक्सेस पैरामीटर्स, जिसको हम बोलते हैं। इसमें नंबर ऑफ इनपुट पोर्ट्स को हम 2 कर लेते हैं, 2 करने के बाद अप्लाई ओके एंड बाहर आ जाते हैं। तो नाउ वी सी 2 इनपुट्स हियर इन द स्कोप। At first input we have connected the voltage, and at second input I have connected the power, right? Now if we run it, we'll check कि क्या आउटपुट अपने पास आ रहा है। तो 5000 is the power now, because V का जो वैल्यू था वो 1000 था, we all know is 5, so 1000 into 5 is equals to 5000, we are getting the current here, right? Now let's see the graph. तो मेरे पास जो ग्राफ है उसमें 2 वैल्यूज आ रही हैं, एक वैल्यू इधर है that is 5000, एक वैल्यू इधर है that is 1000, बट हमें इसको दो पार्ट में डिवाइड करना है, जो हमने मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग में भी किया। उसके लिए we can go to the layout option, and इस लेआउट में जाने के बाद we can change it to this way. Again matrix, तो आप डिसाइड करो 2 rows 1 column, and also you can decide 1 row 2 column. So let's do it this way, and then let's click apply okay, and then we'll see two different graphs, where the first one is showing us the 1000 volt and 5000 is the power. That's how we can create the models in this, right? And if we want to save it, simply we can go to save option. Let's save it here. And now that is up to you where you want to save it. So again, I'm choosing the same location, pictures 1314 May, and it is my first model. So I'm saying it m1.slx is what the format of this file. So let's save it. Now if we see tomorrow, तो ये हम फाइल को दोबारा से एक्सेस कर सकते हैं। So that is it for the day. Tomorrow we'll be discussing about the core part of the core models of the electric vehicles. Do you guys have any doubts? You can ask me, otherwise we'll wind up. No doubts. That's really very great. That mean I'm hoping कि आप सबको समझ में आया है. That is very good. Now I want to click one image. If you can all turn on the camera. मैं भी अपना ऑन कर लेता हूँ. Then we can take one screenshot of this, and then we'll be winding it up. First, I'm asking about the GoToMeet users. Please turn on your cameras. Guys, fast. Okay, smile cheese. Fine, done. Okay, then see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye. See you at same time. Okay. You can all leave the session.